It's time.
Yep, that's me.
Hello, beautiful bookish people. My name is Hannah, and today we're going to be completing my Twilight saga by finishing and reading Breaking Dawn. Super exciting. It's a little bittersweet because I don't have anything else after this. But let me know if y'all want to vlog for Midnight Sun because, y'all, I'm hyped for it. I'm so excited. I feel like I came into the Twilight fandom at the perfect time because I don't have to wait, and I'm impatient. But today we're going to be finishing the Twilight series with Breaking Dawn. I have to be honest with you guys, I know one spoiler from Breaking Dawn. I feel like it was inevitable because you couldn't go on the internet without hearing about Jacob Black, all his weirdness in this book. So I am aware of Jacob's imprinting on Bella's unborn baby. I'm just here for the context at this point. I don't know how I'm going to feel. I'm going to wait for it to happen to me, you know? But other than that, I really have no idea what's about to happen. I'm ready to see my homegirl, Slytherin, Bella, and my whiny Prince Edward. Let's go. Also, I forgot to mention, we're going to be trying doing this in 24 hours just to, like, amp up the excitement. So, stay tuned. Okay.
Chapter 1 is completed.
So Bella is engaged and she's feeling kind of weird about it, but now she's driving a Mercedes. R.I.P. the truck. In the arms of the angel. I miss it already. And also, Jacob Black has gone missing. Let's take a moment of silence. In the arms of the angel. Don't know why, don't really care, but he's not here anymore, so that's okay by me. Leah is coming to the wedding, and that feels like a really cool moment that a werewolf is coming to a vampire wedding. Here for that character growth. There's this weird scene where Edward is asking Charlie for his blessing, and I respect that. That's nice. But then there's this weird description. Oh, here it is. It's on page 15. Where Charlie's face had gone to red to purple to blue. And then the next page, he's laughing and says yes. And so that's like such a weird image to me. Because he's like... like, does that make sense? Does that make sense to anybody? But it's okay. I love Charlie. And then he's just like, my only thing is you have to tell your mom. And her mom is like, it's okay, honey. You're not me. I'm just glad you found an old soul like yourself. 18-year-old and 100-year-old man freeze frame. And then we are left with page 22, and Alice is getting Bella ready for her wedding. I feel like this just summarizes Bella as a person. For several years, my biggest personality trait was going to be thirsty.
Oh, no.
Can we take a minute? Can we take a minute? I understand it's in the context of vampires, but where's the lie? Bella is just thirsty. I'm already on page 22 and I'm having so much serotonin, I can't complain. Okay, the wedding day is finally here, and since you've left, Edward has had his bachelor party, which just means going hunting, as your typical vampire would. That makes sense. I wish I had thought of it myself. Also, I don't think you're ready for this vampire joke. Edward is bringing a new definition to cold feet. There's so much untapped vampire humor that I didn't know was inside of me. But we find out that there was apparently like an adoption agency almost with vampire kids. And obviously the Volturi shut that down because it doesn't make sense to have an infant be a vampire. I don't know why, but I feel like that's gonna come back. Let's turn like the English major filter on for just 1 second. So the wedding is flowing into a reception party smoothly. Proof that Alice has flawless planning. It was a twilight over the river. I love it. I love that their wedding is set during the twilight time period. But let's analyze twilight for a second. What does that mean? Twilight is the part in the day where it's not really night and it's not really daytime. It's the in-between, similar to Bella. being in between, getting ready to become the true form of herself, a vampire. So I think it's fitting that her wedding is set at twilight time. Okay, take the English major filter off. Probably doesn't mean anything, but I like to think that it does. Also, Jacob is the best man, and I just want to give Edward some props for that because he is a straight up gentleman, but also, why? I would never. But that's all I really have for an update at this time. They're gonna go on a honeymoon. Charlie loves Bella, Renee loves Bella, I love Bella. I'm ready to keep going. Last time I left you, I think we were just about heading to the honeymoon, which is in Rio, in a private island that Carlisle bought. No one is surprised. They go for a little midnight dip. I know. So I wasn't expecting any different, but there's fade to black. And then we wake up the next morning and Bella has bruises. Didn't know that. That's for sure. Bella says it was all consensual. Edward is overthinking it. In fact, Bella calls him a buzzkill. Now, I can see why this would not be good for young girls to read and say like this is healthy to have bruises the next morning. It's not. He is a vampire with super strength, but I can understand people's complaints about that. And I feel so bad for Bella because after her first time, she immediately gets pregnant. I am so sorry. How traumatic is that? First of all, you're 18. Second of all, it's your first time. It's already scary enough. And then now you're pregnant. And by the way, her description was like, I've seen enough movies. I know I'm pregnant. And I was like, okay, Bella, same. Let me see what other notes I have. Something traumatic happened in my life. Check. Something traumatic just happened. Are we getting a POV from Jacob? I don't think I can handle that. I'm not annotating that. And that's on being bitter. Stephanie is really giving it to us. We're only 145 pages in, and we've had a wedding, a honeymoon, and a pregnancy. She's going faster, y'all, and I'm happy about it. Okay, since it's Jacob's POV and I'm not annotating, I have been painting, and I want to show you guys. Are you ready?
Wow.
Wow. I'm excited for Midnight Sun, and don't slander pomegranates. Anywho, some stuff has happened. Jacob's just checking on the Cullens to make sure they haven't broken the treaty, which, by the way, I forgot existed. And I'm not kidding, the scene where Jacob and Edward meet for the first time, like after they came back from the honeymoon, was so funny to me because this is Jacob. Alright, put him up, I'm gonna fight. And then Edward, oh, do you think we gotta reschedule, Jacob? I'm in a bit of a crisis. And I'm like, wow, that explains these two characters. And then we learn that the baby is killing Bella. And y'all, I'm so happy that we didn't pick Jacob because Jacob's first reaction was like, why don't we just drug her? And Edward's like, oh, Jacob, well, we would have thought of that, but Rosalind's guarding her. And he's like, are you kidding? That's ridiculous. Of course Bella would do that. What should be my Bella action? Hey, Jake. I've been talking to your tribe, and I think, like, imprinting is, like, kind of Shakespearean. It's like a Midsummer Night's Dream. And I would like to say, on behalf of all English majors, no! Do not drag the bard into this. Imprinting will never be Shakespearean. I'm sorry I'm getting so heated. I think I need to go on a walk. You know what? We've gone on a walk, we've reevaluated, and for the first time in the entire Twilight saga, I'm feeling sympathetic for Jacob. This is the plot twist of the century, quite frankly. For some reason, Sam was like, oh, this baby is gonna cause some trouble, and was just like, out of the sudden, you know what? Let's destroy it. And Jacob's like, no! And so he goes to warn the Cullens. Respect. Having to leave your tribe to save a person's life, I respect that. That is the self-sacrificing things that I were promised with your character arc, and now I'm finally getting it. So yeah, I didn't think I would say it. I don't think he's fully redeemed, because I know what's coming. When he comes into the Bella's room and like has to hold her because he's the only thing that keeps her warm, that hurts. That is the self-sacrificing, like Jane Eyre acts I am here for. Those are the type of things that make me like you. Jacob, you have some rights now. There's some vampire science going on, and I'm not completely sure what's happening, and I don't think Carlisle does either. This is a new thing for us. We've never seen a vampire baby, and Bella has to drink blood to feed it.
Gross. You nasty.
I was repulsed, frightened, but that was so repulsing that Stephen King is quaking. We have not gotten to the birth yet, and I'm scared. We love being aesthetic. Hello and welcome. Microwave. Now I have to do it again. Hello and welcome to my kitchen.
Wow.
Fancy. I have some updates for you. Apparently, the baby likes Jacob's voice. Not surprised by that because, alas, I do know the plot twist. Ow! Some of y'all's serotonin is Animal Crossing, but mine is Bella Swan. There, I said it. It might be a little controversial, but it's true. I love Bella. So there is this scene where Jake just like randomly goes to the mall and he's like, I'm gonna look for my soulmate, and if that ain't a mood, I don't know what is. We have to talk about that birth scene for a second because that was traumatic. If any of y'all read that as a young kid, I'm sorry. It's so graphic. It's more graphic than the honeymoon scene. Stephanie, you did us a disservice. Bella's dead for a couple minutes. Her eyes roll in the back of her head. Her spine breaks. It's intense. Finally, a moment please, because Bella is finally a vampire. Been waiting 4 books, and she's finally here, and we're about to go hunting, and you don't know how excited I am. It's 9:30, and hopefully we can finish it tonight because we're trying to do it within 24 hours. Read by Zoe, I don't know how you do it. It happened.
Jacob has confessed that he imprinted on his resume, yeah.
And I understand that imprinting is a very traditional werewolf thing and trope, cliche, whatever you want to call it. It still makes me uncomfortable. I don't really want to think about it too hard, so I'm gonna move on. I just want to say I feel like Edward should have been more mad. Bella was the only one that showed actual emotions during that scene, and I don't know what was up with that. And Jacob's justification for it was like, now we're family, Bella. I was like, shut up. This whole situation, they've created a new treaty because when Jacob imprinted on Renesmee, no one could touch her. So the thing that makes me so uncomfortable simultaneously saved Renesmee from whatever inevitable werewolf vampire war that was happening. And I see where you're going with that, Stephanie Meyer. You know, Bella's power. Her power is self-control. One of the fruits of the spirit, and we love to see it. I kind of predicted it, and I'm kind of proud of myself. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm almost at the 500 page mark, so that's exciting. I will check back in with you later. Hello, my bookish peeps. We're here today for a final update on the Twilight Saga with Breaking Dawn. Now, I do remember giving an update like at 2:30 in the morning. I have no recollection of what I said in it. I remember there was a flashlight. We have done it. We have finished the Twilight series. It is 2:30 in the morning and I have been reading for 12 hours. I remember there was some sort of conspiracy theory that I had. I know a lot of people were disappointed in the Twilight series for the reason that it's anticlimactic. But here's my conspiracy theory. Come in close. I think Stephanie Meyer is going to come back to the Twilight series 10 years later. She's leaving it open-ended on purpose. You heard it here first. I think I talked about imprinting. The only thing I can't defend about this series is the imprinting. But I'm only human. I don't remember. But as of right now, I want to come back to you with a full night of rest with probably more collected thoughts and give you a final thought on Twilight and Breaking Dawn. First things first, I want to say I've had such a good time reading Twilight. The Twilight Renaissance is living and I'm here for it. I am going to unabashedly say that I really like Twilight. Twilight, the first one, so good. Cream of the crop, creme de la creme. I think it's trying to do something different. I think without it we wouldn't be where we are today in YA. That being said, Breaking Dawn is just okay. I think for Breaking Dawn I was prepared because of New Moon and Eclipse that Stephanie Meyer doesn't have good pacing, and there is typically a 9 o'clock hour plot twist and a new development in the plot line where it for some reason just takes a complete left turn when initially Breaking Dawn is just about the characters until like 500 pages in and the Volturi come back and they're mad about Renesmee and the vampire baby, which makes sense. With Breaking Dawn, it feels like it's two separate books, so I totally understand why they did part 1 and part 2, because around where the point where Bella becomes a vampire, it's like an entirely new plotline occurs. The one thing I think I will give Breaking Dawn is just how unabashedly like happy it is. Like everybody gets their happily ever after, and I didn't think I wanted that, but it makes so much sense for this series that I'm here for it. Twilight, its foundation is built on the characters, and if you don't like the characters, you're not gonna like the books because there's nothing else that you're gonna enjoy. On that note, typically in YA, there is some sort of like bittersweet moment, but Stephanie Meyer just gives Bella everything she could have once and more. Like, she has a vampire husband. She's actually really good at being a vampire. She has a baby. The Volturi just go away with an agreement. And everything's okay. It's all happy ever after. And I like it. Reading Twilight as a 22-year-old has been a trip. And I've enjoyed it so much. I'm so excited for Midnight Sun. I would never in the world recommend these books, but simultaneously I will fight to the death for them. Thank you for coming on this journey. It feels kind of weird to sit down and talk about the last Twilight book, but it's been fun. Thank you for being here. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Keep reading and all that jazz. Ella? No. Do you remember? Well, I'm messing up about it. I'm just thankful that it wasn't a boy because we would have gotten Edward Jacob. No. Self-love is putting on a face mask at 11 p.m. and reading Breaking Dawn. I have no regrets. This is self-love. But Seth is just a good old werewolf pup, and I love him. Bella, little does she know, it's actually based around Edward, because he's 100 years old. But that's all I really love. Do you think y'all could do me a big favor and just like not look at my messy bed? Thanks. Hey! I told you not to.